Broadcasting from the world-famous LWDL studios, this is Life with Dan and Lewis. I'm Dan.
And I'm Lewis.
And we're here to talk about life and all the wonderful, magical, horrible, awful, fantastic stuff inside that four-letter word.
Life.
Before we get too far in, if you hear anything you'd like today, feel free to go over to buymeacoffee.com/LWDL. Your support is greatly appreciated for this little adventure we are on.
Thank you for your support.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Good to see you also.
How was your week or however long it's been since we've last done one of these things?
Yeah, it has been, a few weeks and everything.
I guess for our listeners, maybe not. We have been posting episodes relatively on schedule. We skipped a few weeks here and there, but
yeah,
we did have a little bulk of recordings saved up before we took our last little break.
Definitely.
So, but we're back and we're gonna start recording weekly again. We should be back to relatively current within the next couple weeks or so. But things are going good now that we're back at this.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of time since we've been actually in the studio doing a recording. So it's good to be back. And so you went to Colorado.
Yeah, I was in Colorado for over 3 weeks, almost a month. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Spent some time with my parents.
New house.
I'm fortunate. My parents have a new house up there. That's the whole reason of going back there. And yeah, I say back there because that's where I did high school and college. Mm-hmm. So in a lot of ways, it's like going home for me. That is kind of the place. That is the place other than Texas that I spent the most time in my life.
Okay.
So it is like kind of going home, just in the sense of that place. And I've always said I'd love to move back to Colorado someday. And this trip just sort of reaffirmed that, I still want to move back there someday.
Nice.
And I still love the place. And yeah, my parents are very close to where we lived before. But the area that they're in when we lived there before was, just farms and stuff. Mm-hmm. So just the urban sprawl has pushed out further since I've been there. So yeah, it was nice to spend some time with them. And, I'm fortunate that my job allows me to work remote, 99% of the time. So I was able to work just like normal. Yeah, while I was there.
You popped up in my office the other day and I was like, hey, I was so surprised because, normally you're just at home.
It was actually 2 weeks in a row I was there, but I didn't go by your office the first time because I wanted to get the heck out of there.
Oh, okay.
But the second time, well, the second time it was a 4-hour meeting and it only went 2.5 hours. So I was like, I got a little bit of time to kill.
Yeah.
So I walked over and I haven't been to your office in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun. I figured you'd get a kick out of an impromptu.
Yeah, because I'm always watching the door, see who walks in and everything. And then I see you and I'm just like, hey, it's like, welcome back to the courthouse where you used to work a long time ago.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun being down at the courthouse a little bit this week, but
that's cool.
Yeah. Not that I'm going to make that a regular thing though, if I can just go down there, once a week or once every other week. It's okay.
Yeah. Just keep your distance.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was in Colorado, but while I was gone, you also, or right after I was gone, you had a trip.
Yes. I was actually in Houston for a week for a conference. Not trying to be stuck on the factor of dread, but I typically don't like to travel in a car for more than about an hour and a half.
Sure.
And with Houston being 3 hours away, and I was thinking leading up to the trip that, hey, this is going to be a trip. I don't want to drive, but also I don't want to pay $500 for a round trip ticket. So cheapest option is to just drive.
Yeah.
Do I have to deal with a 3-hour drive? Yeah, of course. But I was like, I'm driving by myself. I'm going to be in my own car. I can listen to whatever type of music I want to listen to.
That's true.
Do whatever I want to do. Stop if I want to stop. If I don't want to stop, I can keep pushing and keep going. And so, I got in the car and started driving, and you know what? Just put on some music and just had a good time with myself and just kept going. Stopped off at Buc-ee's, got me 2 packs of Mammoth pecans, which was my snack for the road and also my snack in my my hotel room. And I got to Houston in a fairly decent amount of time. There was a little bit of traffic. I did a lot of navigating the back roads somewhere in between the back roads of Texas, in between San Antonio and Houston. And luckily I popped out somewhere that led me straight back to an interstate.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know where the hell I was, but I told myself, one, I'm not going to use navigation unless I necessarily had to. And I was just like, when I made a detour, I was like, okay, the interstate was to my left. This street is taking me to my right. So I need to find another street.
So you just sort of kept your head about it and just figured it out.
I was like, and the one good thing, it was like maybe 3, 4 o'clock in the evening, so the sun was still out.
Mm-hmm.
At night, this would have been a totally different thing because at night you kind of
It's harder.
lose your pointers, And so I just navigated some of the back roads and then got back on the interstate. And once they had another bout of construction, I exited and then rode the access road.
Nice.
And just kept going from there.
That's a fun way to do it.
Yeah. And the conference was pretty. It was probably one of the no, it's not probably. It is the best conference that I have been to.
Okay. How come?
In my professional career, simply because of the fact of it's the NADCP conference, National Association Drug Court Professionals, National Association of Drug Court Professionals.
Okay.
And so what they do is on the first day of the conference, they have about a 30-minute orientation for all new attendees.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they have breakout sessions that goes according to your profession. So they have one for judges, they have one for coordinators, they have one for prosecutors, defense attorneys, providers, and everything like that. And they have it all broken down into different sections that whatever your profession is, you go. Then after that, the other days, they kind of have different things geared towards what, your title will be or is. And but I just chose to go to of course I went to a lot of the coordinator ones, and I just chose to go to a few of different ones because I want to get different aspects of what people do that makes up this whole team and how the team works. So I went to a few of the prosecutor ones. I went to a few of the defense attorney ones. I didn't go to any of the judges ones, but I went to some of the treatment providers and counselors and stuff like that, just to get a good feel and just have an overall general view of what other people do. And I like it better than just sitting in one big auditorium. And then
right. So often you go to these conferences and there's a wide range of people there. Yeah. And the topics have to be specific to the topic, but not to the roles.
Exactly.
Or if they are to the roles, then you lose 60% of the room.
Exactly.
Because you're not relating to what they do. Yeah. So that's an interesting way to do it. So were there some combined sessions?
Yes. There were a few combined sessions. We had somewhere in between 7,500 to 8,000 people there. So I met people all over the United States.
That's really cool.
That were there. Got to talk to a lot of, matter of fact, I really hit it off with a coordinating group from Ohio.
Okay.
And it just so happened that, they stayed on the same floor and we rode the elevator every day. So we'll start up a conversation. And then when we'll have the class, we'll be engaged with one another. And which, it makes it better because you get to coordinate or to relate or talk to people of the same profession in that do the same thing that you do, but in just different states, different cities, different areas. Sure. And it's just, we share knowledge of this is how I do it in my court. And they told me this is how they do it in their court. So, I
like that. Yeah.
It makes a difference. And even when I went to, I went with my prosecutors to one of their classes and we met some people from Oregon. Mm-hmm. And they run their court a lot different than the way we run ours here in Texas. Okay. But just to talk to them and just to, get their feel, get their aspect. Because whereas in my court, my judge is the one who talks to participants when they come in, they sit before her. She's not up on the bench. She's down. Mm-hmm. We have tables and we all sit around. It's like a conference, just, talking with them. And my judge does most of the talking, but the group from Oregon that we met, the prosecutors talk to the defendant more.
Okay.
From not a, it's not from a, for lack of a better term, judgmental or a judgy role. It's from the prosecutor. I have the power to revoke this and send you back to regular court or jail or whatever the case may be. And them asking them questions okay, you mess up in this area, what happened, just so they can get a broader idea of, paint the picture of, okay, little Johnny, this is what is a negative effect in his area. This is why he keeps doing this and going from there, which I found very interesting.
That's really interesting.
Not something that I want to do in my court, but it was definitely very interesting and it worked for them.
Right.
One, because the prosecutors in Oregon, typically they have assigned prosecutors to that specialty court.
Okay.
In my specialty court, we change out ADAs, assistant assistant district attorneys probably every 6 to 8 months.
Right.
So it would be better if we had 2 assistant district attorneys that were assigned to the mental health court, County Court 12, permanently, rather
Right.
than having them rotated out. Then I can see like something about like kind of introducing that into our program. But since we don't have steady ADAs that are assigned to that, then it doesn't really necessarily fit in. But it was just good to just be around other people and just get different ideas and see how they all work and run their courts and everything from there. But
That's interesting. Yeah.
it was definitely, in all honesty, some of the conferences that I go to that are like 3 days, I get bored on the second day. This one, at the end of it, at the end of the week, I was like, man, I wish this was like would go on like maybe 2 or 3 more days.
Okay.
Because I felt like there was still more information, still more people I could have met, talked to,
Mm-hmm.
and gather more information from them and learn more, converse more with
Yeah.
other different people.
Well,
And
it is
stuff.
like a nice change to leave wanting more instead of like done.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's interesting.
And I see that you started bowling back up.
Yeah. Yeah. So it started this week. So it'll run for another 6 weeks. So what's that put us right in the middle of August when it wraps up?
So are you just hosting or are you bowling too?
I'm both.
Okay.
And it is a little bit different this time because I only have one time slot. So I lost a couple teams, so I'm down to 13 teams.
How many did you have before?
I had 15 last season, and I've had as many as 18.
Okay.
I think 18 was the highest I had.
Nice.
But they've always been split into 2 groups. So you half start and finish, and then the other half start. So like a 6:30, and then you go for an hour and a half. So that's 8, and then the next group starts at 8:10, and they go for an hour and a half, 9:40.
Okay.
All right. Which has always been fine. So I've had at most, when we had the 18, it was 8 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 was the biggest group I've ever had, that felt busy then. So last season I only had 15. So 6 and, I can't do math. So 6 and, what's 15? 6 and, almost always had an odd number. So 7 and 8 teams. So smaller groups,
Yeah.
right? That's what I'm getting. The point here is I'm getting at smaller groups. So it always felt more intimate and like way more under control. So this time they have 13 teams, and the bowling alley was not, they were in the same mindset I was,
Mm-hmm.
just expecting the same thing. So they had one bartender to start with, and the manager was trying to help out. It was very chaotic for the first 45 minutes.
Wow.
And then it was fine. It worked out fine. And I think we'll be better next week and going forward, just because everyone's mind's a little more wrapped around the chaos that's about to happen.
Okay.
But I think I am going to ask the people back at headquarters if we can not do that again.
Right. There you go.
If we can just always split it into 2, unless we get down to where it's 12 teams or 10 teams,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't think we ever will. But even with 13 teams all at once, it's a lot to handle. So, but it's fun. It's going to be a good group. I think I only have 2 teams that are all new, and one of those teams might have some returners on it. I can't remember right now. And then everyone else has at least 1 or 2 returners. And I think there's only like 2 teams that have new people on them, or no, 2 teams in addition to those first 2. So 4 teams total that have new people on them.
Okay.
So that's 13, 4. So 9 of my teams are full returners.
Nice.
5 of them are with my sort of league within a league. They're a social group that then join our group. And they have 5 teams this year. And then I have 4 teams that are full on returning teams,
Nice.
including my team. So yeah, I mean, it makes it very easy to run
Nice.
when everyone's, knows what the program is and how it's going to work.
Are you bowling with the same team you bowled with last season?
Yeah. So there are 3 people and me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4. We're the returners. So, and those 3 have been on that team for as long as I've been doing this.
Okay.
And then we picked up 1 complete newbie
Mm-hmm.
and 2 people that have bowled with us before 3 people that have bowled with us before that were on other teams. One of them was not there this week. And another guy had bowled with us before, but not recently. So a few years back. And then another guy, he's been bowling longer than I have with the league. Picked him up. That happens sometimes. People drop off of their teams, other teams break up. Then you pick up, stragglers or free agents. I thought my team was done for. A couple days before it started, there was only 3 of us, and I was like, well, that was fun while it lasted. We're all just gonna have to go to different teams and figure it out.
Right.
And I kind of forgot about it, and then the schedules came out, and I was like, oh, we're scheduled still, so it must have worked out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun. It's fun. I like the team a lot, and I like the people there a lot, and I think we have a good thing going.
That's always a plus.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And so we'll get these 6 weeks done, then take a couple weeks off, and then probably go back to Colorado for a few weeks. and sort of rinse, wash, repeat the cycle here.
Right.
Go back to Colorado for a couple weeks and come back and do bowling again.
Nice.
So we'll see. We'll see how that's all going to work out.
Oh, that's cool. That'll be a little routine going there.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that's been going on is we are in full-on summer mode. Not that we ever aren't in South Texas, because there's always a risk of it being stupid hot, no matter what the season is.
True.
But we are in full-on summer mode now.
Yes.
So I got back from Colorado. I think this is my 3rd week back, something like that. And it's been basically up until a few days ago, it's been over 110 every day.
It has.
It's been incredibly hot. So that's finally breaking. I don't think it actually got over 100 today, which is a relief. But I know this is stupid to talk about the weather in South Texas. No duh, it's going to be hot. But it has just been incredibly hot.
You know, I talked to my dad. I talked to my dad one day this week, and I asked him. I was like, "So, how's the weather?" And he was just like, "You know what? We had a few days of hot weather, but now it's back in the mid to high 60s, so it's good." And in my head, I'm just like, "So, what was the hottest weather?" It was like mid to high 80s, mean 70s.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, damn, I'm lucky if I didn't say that to him, but I was like, in my head, I'm like, damn, I'm lucky if I get that.
Yeah, your worst weather is our best weather.
Yeah, I'm lucky if we get that in the morning. Like, we wake up in the morning, it's in the 80s, you know? And so I texted him back, and I was just like, yeah, our high today was a whopping 106, and heat index made it like 118, and, our low today was 92.
Yeah.
It's just like, but he lives in the Bay Area, California, and he always gets that nice cool breeze off the ocean. And so a few days, matter of fact, when I go visit him throughout the day, the windows are always open.
Yeah.
And you get that constantly nice, there is no need for a AC. Like, people have AC units connected to their houses and stuff, but there's no need for it. It hardly ever comes on because the weather is just so perfect. And then, like, of course, if it does get hot, it's only hot for like maybe about an hour or two.
Right.
Nothing a ceiling fan can't take care of.
Right.
And so with a ceiling fan on and it being in the high 70s, you're living good.
Yeah.
So
that is a very nice thing about that area of the country. There's some other not so nice things right now with, the different homeless situations and sort of unrest in those areas that I would not trade. But the weather is always one thing that's nice about the Bay Area, both the San Francisco Bay Area and down south in San Diego. So sort of if you just skip LA, the nice parts of California, Colorado. There I go talking about Colorado again.
There you go.
The nice parts of California, the weather is definitely a winner.
We don't typically try to talk about a lot of politics here, but I was reading across some articles coming out of California and what they're trying to do and laws that they're trying to lift and stuff. I'm just like, the hell are y'all doing over there?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, so it's okay to publicly urinate on the streets now. Like, okay. Just gonna whip it out and just do my business. Yeah.
The things that they are not enforcing or flat out making legal versus the things that they want to make illegal. So, we're not gonna worry about, stealing and looting and public lewdness and vagrancy, but we're gonna outlaw gasoline-powered vehicles.
Yeah,
it seems like your priorities are real straight.
Yeah. So moving on from that, since we don't want to get too far deep into politics.
The heat has not stopped our summer plans, though.
It definitely hasn't.
We've been barbecuing, we've been doing pool days, we've been doing all the summer stuff, and that is the best part of South Texas here, and that you can do an entire pool day. And it'll be 100 degrees the entire day, 100 plus degrees the entire day.
Yeah, because the group came over to my apartment and we all went swimming. We're out there for, I want to say 11, 12 o'clock.
Yeah, right about noon is when we got there, and I didn't leave until much, much later, but I think the whole group left around 6:30.
Yeah, and of course I lived there, so I didn't leave until Dan left. But needless to say, the weather was so perfect that you can spend your whole day out there.
And it felt hot, but then you get in the pool and you get out and it just felt comfortable.
Yeah.
As long as you kept applying sunscreen and you weren't getting too crispy.
Yeah.
It was just kind of comfy all day.
Yeah. We ordered pizza. We had pizza by the pool.
Yeah.
A few drinks and stuff here and there. Kids had their juices and stuff and whatnot. So it was definitely, a good time. And the only thing that I wish that my apartment pool would have is more covering of the pool. um, like there's no trees by the edge of the pool that will give you some shade.
Yeah. I mean, you do have to be really diligent about the sunscreen, just
Yeah.
because as soon as you're out from the umbrellas, you're in the sun.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, you know what? It was a good time, and we all had a fun, all had a blast,
Yeah.
and
Agreed.
we took it in full stride. Which the day before this all happened, I was running around since we were hosting it at our place. I was just trying to, just get different things that thought different people would like, different sodas, waters, whatever the case may be. Then I came across a new Coke,
Right.
and then ultimately I took it out. Like I was at Walmart and I saw it, and I was just like, man, that is new, and it happened to be zero sugar.
Yeah.
So I got it and I was just like, man, I'm not going to open this because it said ultimate limited edition. And I was like, man, I hit the gold mine. I got the last one. It's the limited edition. So I was like, man, I can't drink this because it's limited edition. It's the only one.
Right.
After that, when I went to like 3 different corner stores, couldn't find it. And so I was like, well, I'm not opening it. I got home. Alicia wanted to try it. And I was just like, it's the only one I found. I went to like several different places. I'm not opening it.
Right.
And then so yeah, I remember texting you about it, and you had no idea what it was.
Right.
And so then I went to one corner store by my house, and they had the 20 ounce, and the Walmart by my house had the 10-pack minis.
Right.
And so I bought them, and we tried them out and stuff like that. Which is it falls in line with Coke's mystery flavor drinks that they release.
They've been doing these like they've been doing these special releases. So this one's called Ultimate.
Yes.
But it falls in line with the one before that was Move, Dream World, and then there's an offshoot Marshmallow limited edition single can.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that was Bite, and that was that was in the same tall cans and individual bottles. And then Starlight was the last one the first one that they did.
Yes.
And Starlight tasted like if you dropped Fritos in a Coke. It was like the salty corn chip flavor. It wasn't necessarily bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
But it was interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever found Bite.
No, we never found Bite.
And I did have one of the marshmallow ones, and it was just like extra sweet, sort of like a berry sweet flavor. And then Dream World tastes like marshmallows.
True.
That's exactly what it tastes like, which is funny when the previous one was the marshmallow.
Yeah.
You think, okay, you're tying in with the DJ marshmallow. Why not make that one marshmallow flavored? And then Move, and I know we tried it. I can't remember what it tasted like. So many times I think these just sort of taste more sweet. And that's all I can remember about Move.
Yeah. Surprisingly, Move is still on the shelf.
Yeah.
Now. You can still, no. I haven't found any of the other previous ones, but Move is still out there. And I don't know if it's just an overstock of the gas stations.
I think it didn't sell as good as some of the other ones.
And so they just have a surplus of it and they're trying to get rid of it. But Move you can still find. And then Ultimate is Ultimate I thought would have been a good mixer with alcohol and stuff.
I thought so at first, but it wasn't.
No, it didn't.
Ultimate, they don't even tell you really what the flavor is, but they talk about it's the taste of XP. So they're trying to tie it into like video game culture, right? But to me, it was sort of vaguely like lemon berry. So like citrusy and maybe a little bit blue raspberry-y and sweeter.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could describe it. Maybe like a little bit of like almost like a mango thing going on. Like a that kind of profile, citrus, berry, tropical, heading in that direction.
Yeah, we tried to mix it with Jack, and the two flavors were they
were
don't
too
mix.
harsh. It harshed up both flavors.
Correct. They don't mix at all, and so it they almost clash with one another. Because when you drink it, you'll either taste the soda first or the Jack first, and then they're separate flavors.
Exactly.
And it'll hit different sides of your mouth, and your tongue would just be all confused and just pack it bags and just run out of your mouth.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't hate it, but I wouldn't go seeking out Ultimate. All their special flavors, I wouldn't. There hasn't been one yet where I'm like, man, that is the best Coke ever. They're just different.
I have bought another 20 ounce of Ultimate.
Okay.
I think
You know what? If I was at a store and I saw it, I might buy it just to taste it on a different day by itself, just to see how I liked it.
Yeah, I might buy it a couple more times, just to for the thrill of it.
Sure.
And just to go from there.
right in line. We're talking drink.
All right.
What's in your cup?
Well, what's in my cup is some good Happy Dad is the brand. And what we're drinking is Death Row Records.
Yeah, it's their new grape flavor. I don't know if it's a straight up collab with Death Row Records or if they're just calling the flavor Death Row Records, but it's the grape Happy Dad, and Happy Dad seltzers are unique on the market in that they have electrolytes in them, so they help you from getting they help you stay hydrated, and staying hydrated is an important part of not getting a hangover. So they're not only are they good seltzers, but they're a little healthier. I wouldn't say they're healthy, but they're healthier than some other seltzers if you're trying to keep yourself hydrated whilst enjoying some adult beverages.
Definitely something that's good. Definitely something that's good, like outdoors.
Yeah.
You sit on a patio or, whatnot.
And I will say that their flavors are not as vibrant and tasty as some of the other seltzers, like the other one we're going to talk about here in a second, or even the Trulies or the White Claws. They're probably on par with a White Claw as far as flavor profile goes. The grape one's particularly good, and all the other ones are fine too, but they're not quite as tasty as some of the other seltzers. But the added electrolytes sort of is a compromise, I think, in the overall taste profile. And I still buy them, still drink them. So
yeah, I would agree. They're still good. A good tasty drink.
Yeah. So the other one we have here is Vizzy, and this is a brand I discovered whilst in Colorado. And the flavor I had in Colorado was the orange dreamsicle, which it tasted exactly like those dreamsicle popsicles with the vanilla ice cream in the middle and the orange on the...
Definitely.
It tasted just like that. So then when I came back here, I said, I got to buy some more of these different flavors. So I bought a pack that was like a tropical flavor. It had like blueberry pomegranate, and the pineapple one had a couple different flavors in it. And then when we were over at your pool, I made a quick little beer run or seltzer run, and they had the lemonade pack. So I'm drinking the watermelon lemonade, and you have the
strawberry lemonade,
and they're both incredible.
Yes.
There's Vizzy has done something right. It's a premium seltzer. You pay a little more for these, but there is zero aftertaste.
Yes.
They just taste like you're drinking what it says it is.
Yep. And it has antioxidants and vitamin C.
Yep.
Also, another reason to drink alcohol, because you get your antioxidants and vitamin C.
That's right.
All in one drink.
Exactly. So both of these on the healthier sides of seltzer.
You never knew you can drink alcohol and be healthy.
Right. I wouldn't go that far. It's just not unhealthy.
Right.
Or less unhealthy. I'm not sure.
Switching, since we're talking about drinks, switching from talking about alcoholic drinks and moving over to the energy drink side. As I was in my traveling, I did try I bought one energy drink, which was C4 Orange, which tastes exactly like the orange push pop.
Oh, okay.
So then that sparked my curiosity. So I was just like, hey, I wonder any of the other energy drinks that are orange labeled, will they taste the same?
Okay.
So on my way coming back, I got a Monster Orange, and surprisingly, it had a more of a fainter taste of the push pop, but it still reminded me of
funny, like an orange sherbet.
Yeah. So maybe this is a new trend that's going out. C4 and both Monster are both their orange flavored drinks are tasting that way. Yeah. So it was definitely enlightening.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. As I was driving, when I first opened the can and I sipped it, childhood memories came back.
Okay.
And for a 3-hour drive,
fun.
As you're sipping it, you're just like, man, I remember this, this happy memory. So it was definitely something that took me down memory lane, and it tastes great.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I on energy drinks, I cut back down again to just either my 2 cups of coffee or an energy drink. I don't do both anymore.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of a stomach bug or something going on there that had me feeling all kinds of weird, and then I was worried about my caffeine intake. I think I was compensating for not feeling exactly 100% by drinking a lot of caffeine. And so I dried out there for almost a week. I just didn't do any caffeine, and then I seemed to feel a lot better apart from going off caffeine. So I think I just had a bug. Yeah, that I had to work out. Got some extra rest and feel a lot better. So now I'm back to just coffee and Celsius.
Nice.
I'm gonna stay off those harder energy drinks for a while at least.
Yeah, I mean that might do it.
Right.
So So if Vizzy or Happy Dads, or if C4
or Celsius
or Celsius or Monster, if any of you guys are out there listening and want to become our sponsors, please.
Yeah, we're definitely
let us
open for
know.
that. And tying this right in, this is the place that we would tell you about our sponsors if we had any, but we don't. So maybe you can help us out. Life with Dan and Lewis is actively looking for new brands, podcasts, people, and companies to partner with. If you're interested, drop us a note at lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
That's lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com. It'll be great. We can pick up one of these guys as a sponsor.
Yeah, that'd be just an excellent partnership there.
Definitely. And I would like to say, hey, for our listeners, if any of you guys, have tried Happy Dad, Vizzy, or if you
any
have
of the other seltzers or energy drinks, let us know your favorite and what you've tried out there. Give us some suggestions and we'll give them a shot.
Or even because Dan and I typically like to have some type of energy stimulant to get us going in the morning, whether it's coffee for both of us, or me sometimes taking an energy drink. For our listeners out there, shoot us an email. Let us know, what do you do to jumpstart your day? What do you, is there a natural supplement? Is there, do you take coffee, energy drink? What energy drink do you try?
Sure.
Let us know.
Yeah, reach out and let us know. We'd like to hear from you. After all, we are doing this for your entertainment. Drop us a note and let us know where you're listening from, or if you have any ideas for new segments, things you'd like us to stop doing, do more of, less of, or anything at all. Email us at lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
That's lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
I don't know what's going on with my voice today. I've been fine all day, wasn't coughing all day, and as soon as we started recording, I started coughing, and now my voice is starting to go. So hopefully we can get through this episode here and get on with the night.
Before Dan voices go.
It's going. Hey, so I thought our first episode back, we'd make this one an easier episode, a little less cerebral and thinking about the mental health topics that we often cover, or those in-depth discussions that we have. And let's just talk about some different ranked lists. So I went over on Ranker. I found a couple of lists I thought we'd talk about, and the first one here is laws and rules about food in other countries.
So the first one that we come across on the list is hungry people can legally steal food in Italy.
Yeah, and I guess this one's less there's a law on the books for it, but there's a court case on the books for it. And in the court case, the judge says, well, this guy was he took a small amount of food and he was in the face of an immediate and essential need for nourishment. Therefore, this was a state of necessity. And the guy got off. So this judge set a sort of precedent that, if you're in a state of necessity, you can steal food. Interesting.
It is interesting. My thing is,
how do you prove a state of necessity?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it because my thing? So my thing is proving a point of necessity. Is it that, hey, I don't have enough money because I don't get paid until tomorrow, but I'm hungry, but I can skip a meal and wait till tomorrow? Or is it that, I'm homeless, don't have a place to stay, don't have any money, and I'm starving?
Right.
It's like there's different.
Where's the threshold? Right.
Yeah. There's different levels to it because, there's been times where we spent our last and we get paid in the next day or two.
Mm-hmm.
But, would that require us to go out and steal some food? Or could we eat off of maybe a sandwich and wait,
right.
Or you're like some people that are just down and out homeless, don't have any place to stay, and you're quite legit just starving to death. And
yeah, I get the impression that this was someone who was unhomed and was picked up for stealing literally food that they were eating at a grocery store type situation, but who knows?
Yeah.
And I do agree there's a fine line there.
Definitely.
Okay, so the second one is France banned ketchup in school cafeterias. What are your thoughts on that? Any guesses why they did it?
Because it's messy.
No. Twofold. One, it's about healthy eating. Ketchup has a lot of sugar in it. And two, ketchup isn't French. So they want to preserve the French. They both preserve the children's health, and preserve the French style of eating.
Oh my goodness.
So another reason to snub our noses at the French and begin to call them freedom fries again.
So if you guys out there, all of our listeners have little kids that like to eat cereal that has cartoons on it, can do it in Chile and Mexico. They ban cartoon cereal mascots.
Yeah, following that same line as France banning ketchup. You know, the Chile and Mexico are following the line between sugar and obesity and making it harder to market the sugary cereals to kids. And I, in previewing this article, I think we're going to find a reoccurring theme here that other countries take their food health a little more seriously than the U.S. does.
Yeah, they pretty much always usually do it.
And I'll point this out, bouncing back to the freedom fries and the French and the ketchup. America now considers ketchup a vegetable that can be served at lunch if you have French fries. So for your school lunch vegetable tally, if you eat ketchup, you get one more little tally in your I ate a vegetable column.
Oh my goodness.
Whereas France is banning it because it's too sugary. So just saying, America may not take their food health as seriously as these other countries, or we take our sugar more seriously.
Yeah.
I think that's another way of looking at it. And it does explain why, America has the highest rate of diabetes and obesity. But that's neither here nor there for this article.
Yeah.
But the next point is kind of poignant in this discussion, in that Ireland does not consider Subway's bread actual bread. Any guesses why?
Because
it's a donut, because it has too much sugar in it.
Womp, womp, womp. All right, coming in at number 5, Little Debbie Swiss rolls are banned in Norway and Austria.
Want to guess why?
Too much sugar.
No, they're red and yellow food dyes.
Oh, snap.
You thought we were on a roll there with the sugar, but in this case, it's a yellow number 5 and red number 40. Again, the U.S. does not take our dyeing of foods as seriously as other countries do. And having traveled over in Europe, it is kind of funny when you look at the gummies and the different candies and stuff, the colors are way more muted and like normal looking. Yeah. And like there's not neon colored foods and stuff. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's actually really quite startling when you first come back and you see some of these foods in America and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Why is my candy glowing? And in Europe it's not.
That would be crazy.
Number 6, Singapore banning chewing gum for more than a decade. This is back in 92. They passed a law banning chewing gum, and it was purely on a messiness because people were sticking it everywhere in public transportation.
I mean, that's a good reason to ban it. I would say.
Yeah, I agree. And for whatever reason in America, we don't have this big of a problem with this. And I'm glad this is one problem that America doesn't have. Yeah, do you step in gum sometimes? And do you find gum in odd places? Yes. But I don't think it's a crisis in which we need to ban it.
So the offense can include a fine up to $100,000. I'm not sure if that's in American money or not. And up to 2 years in prison. So that's pretty serious for chewing gum.
Yeah. Now, they did back off that law recently, and they do allow like medicinal or therapeutic gums like nicotine gums to be sold and used.
As long as you can dispose of them in a proper manner.
Right. I'm sure if you get caught, sticking your gum on a seed or something, they're going to, probably enact some kind of corporal punishment upon you or throw you in jail for a few years.
There you go. Coming in at number 7, Finland tops the world in terms of food safety.
Yeah, so it's just sort of a broad item on this list, and it's just saying, Finland has one of the highest standards for a safe food environment and quality. They have the more strict laws, and they're followed close behind by Ireland and Norway and Finland, which is, and I guess Finland is who the article is about here. Ireland and Norway closely trail Finland in their stringent regulations, which I guess isn't surprising considering we're on number 7 and we already talked about both of those countries.
Yeah, to be a little bit stricter on our food health, it wouldn't kill us.
In fact, it would do quite the opposite. It would make us live longer.
Yeah, because if you think about it, I did research because you guys know I'm a type 1 diabetic.
Sure.
And I did research on who is the longest living person on the face of the earth that has type 1 diabetes and has little to no complications, and how long have they lived or how old are they currently at this moment. I forgot the lady's name. She currently lives in the Netherlands, and she's been a diabetic since she was 5, which around the time I became a diabetic since I was 5, and till this day she's 84.
Not so bad.
and she hasn't. She has all her extremities.
Sure.
Nothing has been amputated. Nothing has been replaced. She takes less sugar, less insulin than I do. Because she lives off of pretty much Mother Earth.
Right. So she's regulating it through diet as much as she can.
Yeah. So, which, it goes to say, like, a little bit of, and, growing some plant food at home and eating it and stuff like that will definitely do your body some good.
Definitely. So they have a lot of weird things in France. And one of those things is the rules around bread. So there's like very specific rules of what you can call your different kinds of bread. And one of those is baguettes. So there has to be a very specific law about baguettes, and they can only be made where they're sold. And they can only be made with 4 ingredients, and that's wheat flour, water, salt, and yeast. And a lot of French bread rules revolve around those 4 ingredients and then how they're made.
Wow.
So bread is a huge deal in France.
Next on the list, Mexico put warning labels on Nestle products due to high levels of sugar and fat.
Continuing the trend here, it's about sugar again.
Yeah. It seems like everything that, they're banning
funny, right?
Has to revolve around sugar and fat.
So Mexico, in the midst of having an obesity epidemic with 32.4% of their population qualifying as obese, I think America is up into the 60%, but we won't look up that fact right now.
No.
Yeah. But, over the last, 5 years or so, Mexico has really been trying to promote healthy eating. And as part of that, they are including warning labels on foods that are quote unquote unhealthy.
I mean, that's smart. That would do it. I mean, because ultimately, if you want to buy a pack of cigarettes, they have labels on that. They should put it on sugar and fatty foods.
Agreed.
Because if cigarettes can kill you, so can sugar and fatty foods.
Agreed. And that is an idea that the American government and American society is not pushing.
No, they're not.
So number 10 here, Australia has strict entry requirements from overseas travelers arriving with food. This is similar to like Hawaii does this too. A lot of the island nations do this. And it's just to protect their ecosystem. Australia doesn't want, they call it biosecurity. They don't want introduction of harmful pests and diseases into their agricultural system. And that makes a lot of sense. That one to me is not as surprising as some of these other ones have been.
Yeah. An Australian woman was fined $1,800 for forgetting to declare her Subway sandwich, as was a backpacker with McDonald's in his bag.
So I guess there was some kind of produce on the Subway sandwich?
Yeah.
Wow.
I get trying to protect your natural ecosystem and things like that. So, sometimes you have to take the stricter route in order to do that.
And I guess, with Subway, what comes to mind is like E. coli.
Yeah.
So if you bring some kind of American or British or European strain of E. coli into Australia, that could really screw things up.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is such a thing as different strains of E. coli, but I imagine it's probably somewhat regionalized.
Yeah,
interesting though.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting because that if you go to Dubai or the UAE, one lady got jailed for 5 years because she had a poppy seed stuck in her sweater when she got off the airplane and went through customs.
Wow.
Because poppy seeds,
they're opium plants,
and so illegal drugs are banned in the UAE, and so she got jailed for 5 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, people keep up with your laws if you travel internationally.
Definitely.
Don't want you to wind up in jail.
Especially to the Middle Eastern and Southeast Asian countries. They have some of the more bizarre laws for tourists.
Yeah, I want to go to the UAE, Dubai particularly, and a lot of them, a lot of the way that their laws are written, they try to conform to the Western world. So going out in regular Dubai, women have to be covered from head to toe. That's just their policy. That's just their culture, religion, what have you. But they have certain hotels that if you're at this hotel,
are westernized.
You can stay at this hotel and you can go out to the pool and wear a bikini. But the moment you leave this property, you have to be fully covered. They don't necessarily require you to wear the full burqa or whatnot. You can have your hair exposed, but your body, your breasts, your butt, your private areas have to be covered. And pretty much women, no matter if it's 60 degrees or 200 degrees, we have to be fully covered.
Right.
No shorts.
Right.
In our latest, what you cannot do in foreign countries, it's against the law to feed pigeons in Venice.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem to be about cleanliness or anything. It's more of just pigeons are annoying, and we don't want them all over the place. So we're not going to teach them to eat from tourists. So don't do that.
You know what? I can't agree because they are annoying. They don't like to move out of the way.
No, they get so used to human contact that they become like invincible.
I have seen people drive downtown San Antonio and have ran over quite a few pigeons because they just refuse to move, or like somebody's feeding the pigeons and then they get up, they fly to go towards the person, and everybody that they fly over gets pigeon poop on them. So this definitely can be a problem. And hey, I agree with you, Venus. Let's ban that.
Agreed. So one last list to round out today's podcast, and I thought we'd briefly discuss a few discontinued flavors that we wish we could taste again. First on the list, Butterfinger BBs. And I do miss those. I miss them for a variety of reasons, one being that these are neither gluten-free nor dairy-free Butterfingers. But Butterfinger BBs, they fall in that line of Milk Duds, malted milk balls, Butterfinger BBs. They were that circular, poppable candy. I can remember getting those at, this is really going to date us. I can remember getting those at Blockbuster when we go pick up a movie or something. Get a little bag of Butterfinger BBs.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. The Simpsons were a huge sponsor of that. I think they might have been on the package all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely miss those.
So another one, which was my favorite, and I was so mad when they discontinued these, were the lemon Chalet Creamez Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, the lemon Chalet creams. There's 2 Girl Scout cookies on this list. The lemon Chalet creams.
Did I really just try to go all French on there?
You went so French. You lost everyone.
Cremez.
Yeah. First of all, you went Southern. Chalet. You said Chalet Cremez. Chalet creams.
There you go. Chalet creams Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah. There's another Girl Scout cookie on this list too. Coming in at number 7 was a Thanks a Lot Girl Scout cookie. And that's just like a shortbread as I remember it. It was an original one. Oh no, this was a new one that got added back in 2006 and it went through 2021. I remember having this one. I didn't go gluten-free till 2015. So I do remember having this one. It was sort of like a more than a shortbread and less than a sugar cookie.
Okay.
That's how I remember it.
Somewhere in between that texture.
Yeah. Because the shortbreads are always good. The tagalongs, the shortbreads, those were always good.
Because they're not too sweet, but it just gives you that.
Right. This was more than that. It had more of a texture to it and a little sweeter than that.
Yeah.
But the lemon Chalet creams were awesome. They were sort of like a lemon vanilla Oreo.
Correct.
But the cookies were structurally tougher than an Oreo texture.
Correct.
They were good. I remember those.
Yes.
I remember this one too. It's the Altoids Sours. There are a couple different flavors of them. I guess there are 5 flavors: raspberry, lime, apple, tangerine, and mango. I remember the raspberry ones, the lime ones, and the tangerine ones. And I probably remember the apple ones, but as a hater of sour apple, I never would have bought those. But the tangerine ones in particular, man, those were good.
Yeah, I remember the raspberry.
Yeah. There is a product by Icebreakers that is a raspberry mint that it's just raspberry flavored, but has a cooling effect. It sort of reminds me vaguely of the raspberry sour Altoid. You have to be careful with them because they have that sugar alcohol in them. So if you eat too many of them, you can have some digestive distress.
Definitely. Being a diabetic,
I'm sure you're familiar with the effects of sugar alcohols.
Quite cool. Yes. When I was a diabetic, when I first became a diabetic 32 years ago, there was the option for diabetics, or the substitute for diabetics was very small. And every candy bar, every candy, hard candy, soft candy that was made for diabetics had sugar alcohol in it, which if you eat a lot of it can cause a laxative effect.
Yep.
And we'll just leave it at that.
Yep. Thankfully, today there's a wider variety of low glycemic sweeteners. Not all of them do have a tendency to have a little bit of a digestive effect, but not nearly like the old school original. What is it? Erythritol, the original one. That's the one that will go right through you. Yeah,
and it's just when time changed, technology changed, things changed. Thankfully. So like now I try to find all my stuff with stevia.
Yep. Yeah.
It's
plant
natural,
derived.
plant derived.
Yeah. Taco Supreme and Pizza Craver Doritos. I don't remember those two as much, but I do remember
I don't remember at all.
Doritos used to have a nacho spicier and a nacho cheesier variety.
Yes.
Now they just have Doritos.
Yeah.
So I miss being able to make that choice between a cheesier or a spicier version.
Yeah, I miss those.
This next one on the list, go ahead.
Lifesaver holes.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all. So I'm looking at the picture of it, and what I'm thinking it is it's them marketing as if you made a flat lifesaver and then you punched out the hole in the middle. So we're marketing the leftovers a la donut holes.
Yes. I do remember these. I do remember these because this is around the time I became a diabetic and I can no longer have them. And they came in like a little tube.
So this is where you have a few years on me. These were discontinued in late 1991.
Yeah.
They were recalled because of a choking hazard.
Yep, I can see
But it
that.
wasn't the candies. It was the plastic flip top. These were in the original container that later became M&M Minis.
Correct.
Weren't they?
Correct.
I remember this now.
Yes.
So I would have been like 2 or 3 years old when this got discontinued, but I remember hearing about this at some point.
Yeah, because at that point in time, if you put enough force on it, the top will come off. Kids will put it in their mouths, bounce around because they're on a freaking sugar high.
Right.
And then start choking on it.
So this thing gets discontinued in the mid-90s, and somehow M&M picks it back up, re-engineers it, and a few years later we get M&M Minis.
There you go.
Got it.
With a safer, non-detachable top.
Right. That probably explains why the flip top on the M&M Minis is much wider than you think it would need to be. It's
Correct.
probably to keep it safer.
Yes.
Funny. Cheetos Paws are on the list. And I am a huge fan of puffed corn snacks, like that puffy, crunchy, cheesy snack. And as someone who now has to eat dairy free, I find vegan alternatives to that. But this is like a soft spot for me. I love this kind of snack.
Yeah, so they did discontinue them, and then they brought them back in 2017.
Oh, really? So they're back on the shelves now?
They are back on the shelves. I was when they said Cheeto Paws, I was like, wait, my daughter just had these a couple months ago, but then further they brought them back in 2017.
Maybe I need to get a bag and just overdose on some lactate and enjoy.
Hey, I always say,
I do remember there's one year, and they might still do this. For Halloween, they made a white cheddar version.
Yes.
And it was the bones, and you could build a little skeleton out of your little Cheeto parts.
I remember that.
That was awesome.
We should get a bag and just sit outside and see what happens. And if it goes bad, we just hose you off.
That's always an option. We talked about the other Girl Scout cookies. Number 8 is the Sweaty Balls Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So it's based on that Saturday Night Live skit we all love with Alec Baldwin, where he is selling his sweaty balls.
Yes.
That was back in 1998. This offering of ice cream came up in 2011, and it is vanilla ice cream with a hint of rum, loaded with fudge-covered rum balls and milk chocolate malt balls. So like most things Ben & Jerry's, this was a limited edition flavor. They also had a flavor that was really great called All-Americone Dream. That was Stephen Colbert's flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good, and they had a Jimmy Fallon late-night flavor. I cannot remember what it was called, but it had chocolate-covered potato chips in it, and it was really good.
Yeah, I eat ice cream on spells, so
Not a Ben & Jerry's guy in particular, just ice cream when it sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite ice cream is cookies and cream.
Okay.
Like, that's my favorite. But I can't tell you when it's the last time I had ice cream. I think it was probably before my daughter was born. That was going on 5 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, I've tried a lot of, if not all of the, non-dairy alternatives. And some of them either still mess my stomach or they're just not good. So I pretty much just don't do, the non-dairy alternative ice creams. Every once in a while, I'll do like an almond milk ice cream if I could find one that's pretty natural.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll do like a fruit sorbet situation. But I don't really mess with the non-dairy alternatives. So there's another Ben & Jerry's flavor on the list here. That's wavy gravy. And that was a Brazil nut flavored ice cream with chocolate hazelnut fudge swirl, caramel cashews, and roasted almonds to create a nutty, delicious caramel delight. There's a lot of nut varieties in one ice cream.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really like nuts in desserts all the time.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Coming up next, Ritz Bits S'mores.
I remember these. So these are, the Ritz Bits sandwiches. There's a peanut butter and a cheese variety. Then there was like this dessert s'more variety, and those were good.
I don't remember the actual snack because once again, I was a diabetic and I couldn't have them. But I do, as I look at the picture, I do remember the commercial because on the commercial, they always have those two fighting. And
sumo wrestlers, yeah.
So yeah, I do remember the commercials.
Yeah, so it looks like these debuted in 2002, and they were discontinued in 2016, and they were revived for a brief limited edition in 2022, but not a full run on the shelves. So we'll still have to wait to get those back sometime in the future.
Yeah. Crystal Pepsi, I have no idea, never tasted, never had it.
Yeah, so I think this is slightly before our time. Looks like it ran, oh no, we were around 92 and 94. Between 92 and 94 is when it ran. And the only reason I know anything about this is there was a Chinese restaurant in Menomonee Falls, Wisconsin that we used to go to, that you know how some restaurants will have like a cooler in the front, like mostly pizza places, but sometimes Chinese like takeout places.
Yeah.
And the cooler will be like Coke branded or Pepsi branded.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably in the very late 90s or early 2000s, and it was a Crystal Pepsi cooler from the early 90s. So it was getting towards the end of its life, and it looked like it. I just remember being like, what the heck is Crystal Pepsi? You know, and talking about it with my dad and the other people there. At that point, of course, Crystal Pepsi wasn't around anymore, but the branding was on the fridge still. That is my only reference to Crystal Pepsi, except that I believe, oh no, they did a blue Pepsi.
Yes.
In the probably late 2000s.
Yes.
For a little bit there, but they didn't do a clear one.
So the reason why this one was discontinued is because people associated the cola with the color brown.
Right.
And because this was clear, it drew some distaste to consumers, and looks like Coca-Cola had a part to play in that. I'm not going to read too much into it because we like Coca-Cola over here. Please sponsor us, or Pepsi, you can sponsor us too. So
yeah, Coke released, I think it was Tab,
yes,
which was a diet cola. They released a Tab Clear that pretty much knocked Pepsi out right there and then. Hey, another soda here, 7-Up Gold. And I didn't realize this, but 7-Up originally had lithium citrate in it, which the FDA, the No Fun FDA, got rid of in 1948. Probably around the same time they got rid of cocaine in Coke. So they are definitely FDA is definitely the no fun agency here. But yeah, so in the 80s when 7-Up and Dr. Pepper became the same company, they were looking to sort of shake something up a little bit. So they did a 7-Up Gold. It was sort of heading down that ginger ale path, had hints of cinnamon in it. It ran from 87 to 89, and they just took it off the market. They sort of sabotaged themselves a little bit, this article says, because they also launched 7-Up Cherry at the same time, and 7-Up Cherry is still going strong to this day.
It definitely is. I still try it.
All right, so that's everything on that list today. Those are fun. We should do that more often. In between our more serious episodes, we should try to mix in some of these fun ranker episodes where we can just talk about foods or other things. Maybe we can do some movie ones, something like that. If any of our listeners have ideas for other lists we could rank or sort of discuss here on the show, feel free to shoot us an email and let us know.
Definitely. We'll love to hear it.
Anything coming up for you this week?
Coming up this week, it should just be a normal work week. We'll have everybody back in the office. My judge and court reporter coming off of vacation mode and
nice.
From the Dominican Republic.
Ooh.
And as they come back, I leave on Sunday going to Dallas for a coordinator conference.
Wow, nice.
So yeah, that's about all on my list for right now. What about you?
Yeah, just a regular work week. It could be a busy one at the county. Have bowling on Wednesday night. And I'm sure I'll get into some podcast stuff throughout the week. So it's going to be a busy week next week. I'm going to enjoy this week and make the most of it and hit it hard next week and get a lot done the county job.
There you go.
Other than that, it's just the same old same. I want to get in 9 holes. I started playing 18 and only got through 9 because it was so hot. I started that a week ago, and I meant to get back all week to try to play that back 9, and I haven't. So if I don't get that taken care of this weekend, which I probably won't because it's going to be busy, try to take care of that one night next week and get that back 9 played. Other than that, I might try to hit a bucket of balls this weekend, just do some good relaxing and really take advantage of the weekend.
Same here. Try to just relax and just go with it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for us today. Until next week.
That's right. Follow us on all the social medias. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Life with Dan and Lewis.
That's at Life with Dan and Lewis.
Video episodes are now available on YouTube along with all our previous episodes in audio-only formats, also on YouTube or wherever podcasts are available. Check them out. We hope to see you all there.
We're looking to see you there. Come check us out.
We'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, check out our new limited series, a new episode posted today as we're doing this recording. of The Spotlight. New episodes will be coming in between our weekly episodes of Life with Dan and Lewis throughout this season. Thanks for listening today. More episodes can be found anywhere podcasts are found, on our YouTube page, and on our website at lwdl.buzzsprout.com.
That's lwdo.buzzsprout.com.
Until next time, ask yourself, what have you done today to help someone else? Make good choices.
And love one another.